Hey there, my growing friends. Today I'm going to be harvesting some of these lemon drop ahi peppers from M.I. Gardener, as well as a few of my jalapeno peppers, because I'm going to dehydrate those today and turn them into a pepper powder that I sprinkle in all kinds of things, pastas and different things where I can get away with it. Let's get started. All right, so we got a modest little pepper harvest. If I'm running the dehydrator, you run it for several hours, so I like to go ahead and just get everything in there. I went ahead and harvested even the peppers that were just still kind of small because it all adds up. I'm gonna harvest a few jalapenos and then we'll get started on the dehydrating. All right, this is the last of my jalapeno plant. Oh no. I'm gonna throw these in the dehydrator with those lemon drop peppers as well. So here's what we have. I'll show you how I cut them up, throw them in my dehydrator, and then how I make my pepper powder. All right, I've got my trays here from my Excalibur Dehydrator. I'm gonna go ahead and chop up all of my peppers and get them laid out onto the trays.
This was a random pepper that needs to be dehydrated or cooked, so I'm gonna throw it in with this batch. These are all heirloom seeds, so I'm saving all my seeds and then I'll just replant these next year or whenever. So here's what I was able to get from all of that. I'm going to go ahead and load my trays on my Excalibur. So I only had 2 trays, so I've put them, instead of going, one tray would go here and one tray would go here, I've just put them both in the middle so they can get plenty of airflow. I'm going to put this on the vegetable setting, which is 115. And flip it on. And plug it in. And flip it on. I don't know if you can hear it. It's pretty quiet. We actually like the hum of it when we're doing school here at our table. It's kind of peaceful, kind of comforting in some weird way. And then all of my scraps will go in the compost pile. Hello, it's the next day. My peppers were so fresh, I had to let them run in my dehydrator for probably about 12 hours. And that does happen when you're dehydrating something that's super fresh. It can take a lot longer. So I ran it overnight, and this is the next day when I'm filming this. So I've pulled my peppers out, and because they dehydrate and get a lot smaller, I've married them onto one tray. But I'll show you my trick, how I turn them into pepper powder. And I will say, I am not an authority on dehydrating. Dehydrating is new for me. I had tons of peppers through the summer that I didn't harvest. I mean, we tried to eat them, we gave them away, but now that I have the dehydrator, I'm able to preserve a lot of these peppers. So this is really new for me. And pepper season is winding down now, so I will have even less of it. But I'm thankful to have the dehydrator because next year I will dehydrate a ton of peppers and keep up with, because you could do whole peppers, you could do pepper little pepper strips. Those are neat and fun. I haven't done any of that, but I've watched a lot of videos about it. So like I said, I am not the authority on dehydrating. This is new for me. The little trick I use to make my dehydrated peppers into powder is to take my KitchenAide coffee grinder. I put them into the canister. I love a kitchen gadget that gives you multi-purpose use. So obviously I grind my coffee beans with this, and now I'm looking forward to grinding up tons of dehydrated things, not just peppers. Maybe there'll be other things in the future I can use it for too.
You can hear the tinking of those peppers into the canister, so that tells me those are definitely dehydrated and ready to use.
I'll point out too, the dehydrator I use by Excalibur comes with these mesh trays that sit on top of the tray. So I've got my peppers in my coffee bean grinder. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a grind, and it may take a minute, and then I'll check them and we'll go from there. You can see how it's become powdery. The smell is so good. And there you go. So you saw my pepper harvest yesterday. It was not a ton of peppers, so it's not going to make very much powder, because when you dehydrate them, they get even smaller. So it's a modest amount of powder that I'm making today, but everything counts. And like I said, next summer when the peppers are just popping, I'm going to have tons of pepper powder, and I'll be able to preserve a lot of them with my dehydrator. Okay, so I've poured my ground up peppers out of my KitchenAide coffee bean grinder into my jar. As you can see, it's a modest little amount, but I only use probably like a tablespoon of this in a whole big pasta dish, a pinch of it on my eggs. I enjoy spicy. It doesn't take a lot. These, the lemon drop peppers are spicy peppers. So real quick, I wanted to tell you just a little bit about the dehydrator that I use, the Excalibur. It's a 4-tray dehydrator. They do come in 9 trays, but for me that just felt a little bit too much right now as I'm learning about this. Maybe I'll upgrade to that in the future, but I chose Excalibur specifically because I read a lot of reviews. There are certainly cheaper ones, but the Excalibur just seemed, the reviews were there. Everything everyone was saying pointed to it being a much better brand than some of the cheaper ones. And there are even more expensive ones than the best of the Excalibur brand. I'm happy with the Excalibur. So I just want to tell you a little bit about that. So that's it for today. Appreciate you watching as I dehydrated and made pepper powder. I had to cut this little tiny piece of jelly off my son's Uncrustable because he doesn't like it like that.